Hello, everyone, and welcome to NCC's annual Open Meeting Online. I'm Tara McGowen, Executive Director of NCC. I will begin by providing updates on all our various committees and working groups, as well as explaining initiatives and new opportunities to become involved in NCC. First, I would like to direct everyone's attention to our newly designed landing page. As you can see, we have moved the buttons for our different constituencies, researchers, teachers, and librarians. By clicking on these buttons, you will find resources specific to your needs with a brief description of what each of our committees and working groups has to offer, so you can more easily find the support you are looking for. I would also like to draw everyone's attention to our new membership sign-up button. Although we tentatively tested a membership sign-up over the past year, we now have an opportunity to grow our membership thanks to an important recent change the NCC Council made in the NCC bylaws. Prior to this change, membership was limited by definition to the people on the NCC Council, each of whom has voting rights over major decisions for the organization. Now that we have defined council membership as separate from general membership, we will be able to include everyone, past and present, who has been involved in the organization and who has or wants to contribute to NCC's mission going forward. Although voting rights are still restricted to the NCC Council, our general membership will play a key role by offering ongoing feedback and suggestions, which we will present to the NCC Council at our annual meetings. When you click on the membership button, you will be taken to a brief survey where we ask you a few questions about your background and level of interest in becoming involved in NCC. This survey will allow us to tailor our surveys and mailings to suit your needs and interests. We will also be sending out a brief quarterly newsletter via email and social media to give you regular updates on new resources and opportunities for professional development. We sincerely hope that everyone who has been involved with NCC, past and present, as well as those who want to become involved in the future, will sign up to become a member. Topics of discussion that we will be having with the whole Japan Studies community and that we had hoped to initiate at this year's open meeting include how best to celebrate NCC's 30th anniversary in 2021 and what the next decade will bring for resource sharing. At the beginning of each decade since its founding in 1991, the NCC has initiated conversations about resource sharing in the next decade. Now that our meeting in Boston has been canceled, we will be exploring online formats, newsletters, and other means to communicate with our membership and community about how best to navigate the NCC's fourth decade as an organization, as well as to celebrate our achievements over the past 30 years. Again, please sign up for NCC membership and stay tuned. As many of you will recall, we unveiled our initiative called the Comprehensive Digitization and Discoverability Program last year, and the leaders of our task force, Reagan Murphy-Kao of Stanford University and Toshie Mara at the University of California, Berkeley, presented a poster at SEAL. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the many of you who took part in our survey. Reagan has created a separate presentation to discuss the results. I would just like to say briefly here that Reagan and Toshie are working on a new LibGuide for this program, which will be available online soon. Our plans for this important initiative were recently given a boost by the news that Toshiba International Foundation will provide funding for the CDDP to hold a summit to build an international infrastructure for digitized Japan-related materials at Stanford in the fall, to bring together key people from Japan, the US, and Europe to discuss ways forward. I also want everyone to know that the many successful years of contributions made by the multi-volume set project will not be forgotten, and the database is still available for use on the NCC website. Now for our committee and working group updates. Here is the current membership for our Interlibrary Loan and Document Delivery Committee. Setsuko Noguchi of Princeton University and Leila Smith of Harvard University are co-chairs of this committee, and they submitted the following report. As you can see, ILLDD committee has been busy this year negotiating with the National Diet Library about how best to transition to NDL's digitized content transmission service. Here is a brief timeline of their activities. Unfortunately, their plans to communicate in person with the representatives from NDL and the librarian community at AAS and SEAL were disrupted, so they will be finding other ways to share this information in the weeks and months ahead. Perhaps the biggest disruption to our plans, however, was the cancellation of NCC's Librarian Professional Development Working Group's Next Generation Japanese Studies Librarian Workshop. I would like to thank Fabiano Rocha and Setsuko Noguchi for all the hard work they put into planning this 2-day workshop, which was to be held at the Reischauer Institute in Boston prior to the SEAL annual conference. As many will recall, these workshops were carefully planned based on the needs and interests of librarians surveyed at last year's meeting. Because these workshops came out of feedback from our constituents and because we are committed to offering networking opportunities to the next generation of librarians, we are planning to reschedule these workshops in the coming year, with some of the sessions possibly offered online and some as a pre-conference workshop in Seattle in 2021. So again, please stay tuned. Our Digital Resource Committee has new co-chairs, Ayako Yoshimura of the University of Chicago and Yukari Sugiyama from Yale University. They have been working on several fronts to recruit new members, as well as to maintain ongoing projects and define new directions. Our Image Use Protocol Working Group has also been maintaining its ongoing support for researchers who need information about using images in publications. But they're also looking to form a group to develop a protocol for using moving images. As you can see, we have begun to approach experts in the field to form this group. If you are interested in issues surrounding copyright and moving images and would like to contribute to the efforts of this working group, please contact me or IUP Chair Fabiano Rocha at the University of Toronto. The Cooperative Collections Development Working Group has new members, and like many of our other committees and working groups, was planning to make the most of the SEAL and AAS meetings to plan their agenda. They will be finding other ways to communicate in the months ahead, so please keep checking their LibGuides for updates. The Outreach Working Group is a relatively new initiative, and as mentioned earlier, there will be a separate presentation available about the results of the survey they conducted last year, prepared and presented by Tsuyoshi Harada and Kana Jenkins. I encourage you to watch their presentation, but I will briefly share here a few changes and shifts in membership going forward. Tsuyoshi Harada and Kana Jenkins will step up and support co-chairs to navigate OWG in many aspects. Ayako Yoshimura will step down as a full OWG member, but has agreed to stay on as a faculty advisor. Reagan Murphy-Cow of Stanford University joined OWG in March 2020. Wei Yu Wayne Tan, assistant professor of history at Hope College, also joined OWG as faculty advisor. OWG co-chair Kuniko Yamada McVeigh would like everyone to know that Japan Knowledge now offers alumni access service, although she notes that the conditions are hard to meet. Kuniko has just submitted the signed license to the vendor in early March, and she will share her experience with the NCC community. Naoko Kato is currently working on developing the OWG LibGuide on the NCC website. OWG members will review the developing OWG pages and share their feedback at a virtual meeting in late March. Reiko Yoshimura at the Freer Gallery of Art Library in Washington submitted this update for the Japan Art Catalog Project. Since 1995, the Japan Art Catalog Project, or JAC, has facilitated access to Japanese art catalogs for art historians and the general public. We would like to thank the National Arts Center in Tokyo for doing so much to facilitate this project. We were all extremely saddened by the loss of Yasuko Makino in 2019. I personally feel very honored and fortunate to have had the opportunity to visit her over several months in 2018 to interview her for NCC's Multimedia History Project. Mrs. Makino graciously offered to be the first person interviewed for this project, and the interview is available on the NCC website. We also have recently added a three-way interview with my predecessor, Victoria Lyon-Bester, who spoke with Eric Gangloff, Executive Director of the Japan-U.S. Friendship Commission at the time of NCC's founding in 1991, and NCC's first and founding chair, Amy Vladek-Heinrich. In the next few months, Tokiko Basil, Japan Studies librarian at the University of Hawaii at Manoa Library, will be interviewing recently retired professor of sociology Patricia Steinhoff, who has contributed in so many ways over her long career to the NCC and the Japan Studies field. NCC's Multimedia History Project is a participatory engagement project, so we encourage you to contact us and find out how you can become involved in helping to record all the fascinating stories about the people who built the field of Japan Studies and Japan Studies librarianship. As I think this presentation has demonstrated, there are many ways to become involved in NCC. We cannot achieve our mission without the involvement of the whole Japan Studies community. So again, please sign up to become a member. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all our outgoing committee and working group members, as well as to welcome all the new members mentioned in this presentation. Last but not least, I want to thank our funders, the Japan-U.S. Friendship Commission and the Toshiba International Foundation of Japan, without whom none of this work would be possible. Thank you all for listening, and stay safe and well. I hope to see you all in person next year in Seattle.